Okay, welcome to the second session. It's we're still focused on balance in this series, so we're going to be doing some similar things to week one, but there'll be variations and some additions as well. So we're going to continue with the stalk, the flying stalk, where we started last time. So if you remember, we're going to have the arms low, palms facing towards the sky, and we're going to lift one leg as we float the arms up. So we're using flow to create balance. We're using flow to create balance. So keeping it fairly slow if you can. If you feel like you need to go faster to allow a sense of smooth movement, like I did then, then change the pace. And sometimes, we are going to take a quicker fall with the foot, so we're just going to lose balance. And part of that is good because we want to be able to kind of challenge, we want to be able to experience recovery, we want to be able to experience not getting upset or annoyed or frustrated with ourselves as we find a difficulty with balance. Okay, and pause. So usually when in flow state, the breath will kind of look after itself. The harder it is, obviously, the tighter the body will become and the tighter the breath will be. So we're going to do similar. It's less, the flow will not be quite as easy as what we've just done. So basically, we start doing the same thing, but we keep, let's wobble a bit, we keep the knee up as we bring the arms down. So you might not find the space as easy. Because you're having to keep the arms higher. So trying to keep a sense of length through the spine. And trying to keep the gaze forward. Okay, and after the next one, let's relax that first leg down. Okay, and just have a little bit of a moving both legs for a moment just to loosen up and maybe just a little bit of movement to the sides. Soft, gentle twist. Okay, so second side. So flowing the arms up, flowing the leg, finding your balance, and then flowing with the arms while you're on one leg, flowing with the arms. So if this doesn't work out on one side or on both sides, then you just do what we were doing before. And you find your flow, which again, the harder it is, the temptation is to speed it up. But partly the movement with the arms will encourage the work of the upper body to lengthen and for the core to activate. And let's come down. Okay, so hopefully, again, if you need to just move both legs a little bit, move around a little bit. So I'm going to bring this back, which is not ideal, but it's going to work. It's going to work. So we're going to do the movements that we did last week, but again, it's going to be some variations. But we'll start with one that we did do last week. We don't need to vary it initially, but we will be adding something afterwards. So coming to the front of the mat, sweeping up both arms, one knee, and then stepping back. So you're onto your toes, you can take your arms up. Now, let's do a minor variation here to take the arms out to the side, so more cactus arms, hands up position. Extend up, let the arms drop, come back to the front of the mat and relax. Second side when you're ready. So taking the arms and the one leg up, sweeping that back, sweeping the arms up, letting the arms come into cactus arms, sweeping the arms up, then let the arms drop, but carry yourself forward back to the front of the mat. I'm just going to adjust this because I feel like I need a bit more space. So repeat that again, first side, sweep the arms up, bring the knee up, step back. So we're just coming onto the ball of our back foot. So everything's still pointing in the same direction. We take the arms up to lengthen, keep that length when we take the elbows out to the side to open through the chest. Take the arms back up to lengthen. We'll let the arms come down and swing us forward back to the front of the mat. We get stable, we can. We take up the opposite knee, and from there we step back, we sweep up, take the arms out to the side, cactus arms, we lengthen, we swing, and we come forward. Okay. So, every time we add something in, it might make it a little bit more clunky. So if you feel like you need to go back a stage and just do with the arm swings, rather than changing the arm position, then please feel free to do that. So we're going to do again similar, but there will be a variation from last week. So we're going to take one leg back into Warrior Two, which most of you remember. So we sweep one arm up, same leg up, and come into our warrior. Hopefully you're facing me for this first one. If not, just make that adjustment. We're going from Warrior Two to that side angle position. And then we're going into reverse warrior, which we didn't do last week. We go back into Warrior Two, come over to side angle, and back into reverse warrior. So there is the option here is to look over the front and to look up to the armpit, and same thing, but opposite armpit, just to look that in the opposite direction. Eyes come into upper arm, back. Sweeping up one arm, one leg, to step back to your Warrior Two, which is this front knee bent. From there, come into side angle, come over into reverse. And you've got it, you look over your front hand in Warrior Two. You look at your armpit on the first side for side angle. You look at your other armpit as you go into reverse warrior. Come back into warrior, and you repeat. Side angle, reverse, Warrior Two. So the legs stay in the same position. Back arm, back leg, sweeps you to the front with a bit of luck, and you arrive back at base. Okay, so the Again, have a little bit of a walk around or a little bit of a twist to just loosen the body up if you need to. Do lots of backwards and forwards at the moment. So it might be easy if I show you this movement. So we're going back to similar to the first position, but we're going to add a few extra movements in. So we're sweeping both arms up, bringing one knee up, we're stepping back, we're sweeping the arms up, we're taking the elbows out to the side, we're stepping forward and then we're coming forward. Sorry, it's a bit awkward for me here. And then we're stepping back. We're extending up and then we're coming forward. Doesn't help if you've got a bridge. You're fighting kids. Okay, and so we're going to repeat that. Maybe if I do it on the other side, it's going to be easier, isn't it? So if we do it on the other side, so sweeping up, bring the sweeping up, sorry, bringing your knee forward with that, stepping back, sweeping up, elbows out to the side, maybe a hop, and then a lean forward as you take the back foot off the floor. Try to re-find that place with the toes and the ball of the feet, maybe stretch up again for a moment. Use the arms to rock you back to the front. Okay, yeah, it's much better for me. Okay, so then we're going to use our opposite leg. So sweeping up, stepping back, sweeping up, elbows to the side, popping forward, taking the back foot off the ground, finding the ground, sweeping the arms up, let the arms swing to get yourself back up to the front of the mat. Okay, so maybe to bring the knees a little bit higher, just to reduce any potential discomfort in lower back, but we are going to go down towards the ground now. So going to be on all fours. And we're going to do as we did last week with the kicky donkey one. So again, this will also give some relief for the back maybe. And it's still a balance. So we're down, we've got a sense of support from the ground through the hands and through the knees hip distance, hands are well, wrists are just below the shoulders. So we bring the knee to the nose and we extend the leg behind us, but below or certainly no higher than the hip. We come forward, knee to nose, and we extend back. So the neck's in neutral, so we're not going into kind of a cow position where we're bending the back. Yeah, it's a neutral position, and then it's a rounding at the back as the knee comes to the nose. And extend. Knee to nose. And extend. Knee to nose. And extend. Okay, come back onto all fours. Do what you need to do to relieve any tensions from the wrists. So we can go to the second side. And you're ready, knee to nose. Leg extends behind you. Knee to nose. And just following that cycle, that flow between the two movements. So one more on this second side. And then back onto all fours. Okay, so from here, I'm extending through my right leg and I'm hopping it over the left leg. And then I'm taking the right hand and coming slightly lower to come into this kind of banana shape as I take the right hand beyond the left hand. I'm coming back with the hand and coming back with the knee. Opposite side. So left leg over right. Come down a little bit to extend the left hand be on the right hand. I'm coming back. So this is not as flowy maybe as some of the other movements, but we're just trying to find a way step by step to work through the movement. Leg, hand, hand, leg, leg, and so there's a lengthening through the side body just for a moment. So all these movements are just getting us into somewhere of length for a moment, and then we're coming out of it. It's also obviously still a balancing activity. So finishing on whatever side makes you equal, to come back into all fours. So we'll start with doing the threading the needle as you would normally do it, and then we'll add in a more of a balancing aspect. So you're going to sweep the hand underneath the base of the hand, bottom of the hand slides under, and you reach your head right touch the ground, in that heading towards the ground, and then you reach your arm more towards the sky. So for most of us, that becomes a little easy with the flow, but you might need to limit how far you take the hand up. You might have to limit how far you go towards the shoulder and towards the head. You're only staying there for a second, whatever is your range. And come back to base. Turn out. Okay. So it's opposite side, arm threads through, arm reaches more towards the wall or towards the sky, depending how the range is in the shoulder. So you don't want to overwork that shoulder. You want to have a sense of the shoulder being really part of the center, and that means that the arm feeds into the upper body and is supported rather than trying to overextend through the shoulder, which a lot of people can do. It's not the aim. You want to try and keep that integrity between the body, trunk, and the shoulder and the arm. And this is the final one on this side. Okay, so as we go back to side A, then your choice, what you can do is as you thread through, you have the arm, the leg lifted. So I've got my left arm going through, so I've got my right leg off the floor. So it's harder. You might not want to take your arm as high, won't do this as long. You might not want to take your arm through as far. So just one more. So a lot of these, as you come back down to rest for a moment, a lot of these do require quite a lot of core support. And if the back just can't hold it, or the pelvis just starts to dip or twizzle around, then you just need to come down and just do one, or just do half of the movement and just work your way through that. So, and you can just repeat the same, that's fine. That works, makes more sense to the body. Okay, so second side. So just thread the arm through and start to extend the leg. I come back, extending the arm. I come through, down to the ground. I come up, through. So finding the ease in the movement as we challenge it more becomes more difficult. So this won't be the last one. Back onto all fours. Well done. Well done. Okay, so we're going to come onto our back, which you might be pleased about. Okay, so might feel nice to release the tension from the work that we've been doing. So flow will still create tension and tone. So we're still needing to activate the muscles. So some are easier to create that activity, that action, that engagement than other movements. You'll know from your experience where it's more difficult. So that last one was probably more difficult for most of us. So we're just going to march on the spots. We're just bringing the knee and the thigh in towards us so we get length down one side and then length down the other side from the sitting bones through to the mid and lower back to just get a little bit of a release of tension there. So we have done some side bends, we have done some twists. So they haven't just gone backwards and forwards, which can be common in a lot of the balances, trying to create ones that challenge the body in different ways and the ones that we need for greater stability through the side body, and also not just getting us stuck into one movement. We need a range of options there. Okay, so we're going to do the same marching movement, but we're going to do that in a bridge pose. So we're going to have the arms with the elbows bent, fingers facing towards the sky. So the arms are reasonably close to the body without forcing it in too tightly. Can bring the feet a little bit closer in if that's possible. We can create a little bit of an arch in the lower back. We can take the lower back down and we can push ourselves up. So we don't want to go too far here. We want to know that we're working the glutes ideally. So then we're just going to march. So we're actually bending the knee in towards, well, the knee heads up towards the sky. And we're just stepping. We're trying to keep the pelvis where it is. So sometimes we just extend the leg in a straight position. This time we're working more with bringing the knee in towards us. So that's a little bit safer for the lower back. It's a different challenge. We could keep this going longer than we probably could with the marching, with the leg extended. So different things work with different movements. We can hopefully find more stability, partly from what we've already done already. We would have worked the core, so it's now kind of ready for action. Okay, and let's bring the legs down, and the arms can come down and rest as well. So we're going to pick the feet off the ground. We're going to have the legs together, or close together if that's better than bringing the feet and the knees completely together. If you can get your arms out to the side, then you do, and you let the knees come over, but not quite to the ground. You bring the knees back, and you go over to the other side, just letting them hover. Bring them back, and over to the other side. Hover. Bring them back. Second side. Bring them back. Third time. To the top. So will be the last one. Over to your second side. Let them hover. Bring them back. Bring the feet down. Okay, great. And just bring the arms in for a moment. And just pause. Okay, so we're going to be coming back to standing. So, well, before then, actually, we are going to do a couple of things sitting before we do that. Sorry, apologies. So if you cross your ankles, knees out to the side, and rock up, and turn towards me with the feet crossed if you can cope with this sitting position. If you need to grab something that's handy to give more support to the bum, then you can do it. We're only going to be here for a very short while. Okay, so I've got my hands on my knees, and then I'm going to reach out towards you. Bring my hands back to my knees. So if it's tight on the knees, you take the ankles further forward. If this is really unbearable, then you don't do it. You can take your legs, extend the legs out and do the same movement. So we're just reaching forward and bringing the hands back on the knees. Reaching forward, hands back to knees. Reaching forward. Okay, so we're going to slightly change where we're heading. So we're going to head to one side, not too far, I don't want to upset the back, and the other side. Back and up, hands back to the knees, forward, hands back to the knees, over to one side, back to the knee, other side, back to the knee, and extend up. Okay, so now we can come back, release the legs, keep the legs wide, and just go into a side to side movement. So, as promised, we're coming back to standing. So, finding a safe way to rise. So, as last week, we're going to do a sort of flow version of tree pose, a traditional tree pose version. So, hands are going to come together in front of the chest, and that's, you can give a little bit of pressure between the hands to get that stability through the shoulders. The reminder is also to kind of lengthen through the spine if you can. And then we're just going to place one foot on the calf, come back down, and place the other foot on the calf. So we just, rather than staying very long, we just kind of arriving, bringing both feet down, arriving, and just moving between those two sides. And it might feel like there's a greater ease now. We've kind of done preparation by doing so many balances that it should be now feel like one of the easiest. Okay, so next time you're down, and just have a little bit of a shake out. So we're going to do half an eagle pose. So we're going to do the leg bit. So the leg bit is crossing the legs over and sitting back. Yeah, so we can keep the hands in the same position. And again, we're just going to get into that position, get out, and go to the side. So having hands back into position where we feel fairly centered, we're reminded to lengthen through the spine, and then we bend the knee and cross over, sit down, stand up, cross over, sit back. So just finding your rhythm. Moving side to side with as much ease as you can. So that flow, that rhythm, that ease, that lightness in the movement. And finishing off back in center. Relaxing the arms. And let's fly again. So we'll just finish with how we started. So We're flowing the arms up, bringing one leg up, flowing the arms up, swapping sides. So it's an opportunity to let the arms flow, which we don't do that much. We're often trying to have strong arms, whether they be on the floor, supporting yourselves on all fours, or whether they've been more as a stabilizing for the shoulders and opening up through the chest. Okay, time to stop flying. Okay. So if you do still need to do something for the back, then you just can lift the knees up independently, or if you just need to do a little bit of a twist. But hopefully that should be fairly safe now for you. So thank you for balancing with me, and I will be back to balance further next week. Thanks again.